I have been working as a freelance drone surveyor for about 5 years now. Mostly it is boring stuff like mapping out timber plots or checking for illegal logging in the deep woods of the Pacific Northwest. I use a high-end industrial quad with a thermal sensor and a 4K gimbal. Last Tuesday I was hired by a private firm to map a valley that hasn't been surveyed since the late 90s. According to the GIS data and the latest satellite imagery from Google Earth, there is absolutely nothing in that specific sector except for dense pines and some rock outcroppings. No roads and no structures for at least 30 miles. I was about 40 minutes into the flight when I saw a glint of sunlight reflecting off something in a clearing. I checked the monitor and saw a small cabin tucked right against the ridge. It looked too clean to be a ruin. The wood was dark and the windows were spotless, which made no sense given the location. I pulled up the map overlay on my tablet and it still showed a solid green patch of forest right where the house was standing. I figured it might be some off-grid survivalist setup that was built recently, but everything about the architecture looked 50 years old. I decided to bring the drone down to about 20 feet to get some high residential footage for the report. As I hovered near the porch, I noticed the front window was huge, like a picture window you would see in a modern suburban house. I tilted the gimbal down and looked inside. There was a desk with a laptop and a bunch of monitor equipment. A guy was sitting there with his back to the window. He was wearing an orange hoodie with a specific logo on the back, a logo for a drone racing club I used to belong to 3 years ago. I stopped breathing for a second because I was wearing that exact same hoodie right then. I moved the drone closer until the lens was almost touching the glass. The guy in the window slowly turned around. He was holding a DJI controller in his hands. On my screen I saw my own face looking back at the camera through the window. It was not a reflection. The lighting inside the cabin was different and the me in the room looked exhausted. I watched myself on the screen as I looked up at the drone, and then I felt this sudden jolt of vertigo. I looked up from my controller in the real world and for a split second I saw a white quadcopter hovering right in front of my face in my living room. Then the feed on my tablet just turned to static and the drone lost GPS lock. I hit the return to home button, but the signal was completely dead. I hiked out to the clearing where the house was supposed to be, but there was nothing there. Just some old rotted stumps and a few pine needles. I checked the flight logs when I got back to the truck, and the GPS coordinates for the cabin are pointing to a spot that doesn't exist on any coordinate system I know. It is like the data just corrupted itself the second I saw my own eyes. I am still sitting in my truck and I can hear a low buzzing sound coming from the roof of the cab. I really do not want to get out and check what it is.